I'm a God-fearing, hard-working combine driver, hogging up the road with my flower, chugging like a lug at 5 miles an hour on my international.
Welcome everyone to the first ever episode of Unrooted Men's Volleyball Edition, and my guest for the first ever episode is none other than the inaugural head coach of the men's volleyball program here at Menlo, Atlee Frechette. Atlee, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit better. Loyal Menlo fans and alumni would know that you, of course, were the head coach of the women's volleyball program the past couple of seasons. You've made the transition now over to the men's side. What is the difference for you personally making such a jump from coaching a women's team for 4 years to now being in charge of a brand new men's program?
Well, you know, first of all, the women's program here is just going to always have a special place in my heart. You know, I got my first collegiate coaching career started here at Menlo with the women's program and had a great 4 years with them. And it's something, obviously, that I came into coaching women. And some people ask me that I, coach against now with the men. Have you ever coached men before this? And I've just, full honesty, no, I've never coached men before. And it's just, the transition has been great though. I love this team. The recruiting last year was kind of a whirlwind, but very exciting, and learning all about it along the way. I've always been a fan of the men's volleyball game, though. Watching Stanford men's volleyball growing up, very exciting sport to watch, and I enjoy it every step of the way.
Now, I don't know a whole lot about this side of you, so I'm going to ask. I've heard from a little birdie here in the office that you are involved with crops and farming of some type, and that maybe it helps that you're now coaching men's volleyball because you have the fall off. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that part? Yeah,
I live and have been a part of a family ranching and farming business. It's been in my family since the 1920s, so a long, long time, and it's just a part of me, it's a part of my family, and I had an opportunity to be more involved, and so that was starting out last year. I fully run and manage our farming side. We do a pumpkin patch, and we also contract out when we kind of co-run Christmas trees, and then alongside berries and berries. Actually, if you talk to some of our sports performance coaches and our men's team and women's team too, they all know about the berries. I've brought quite a few samples, but it's just a part of me. It's part of my life, and I have to balance my passions, and being with the men's program here has allowed me to do that. So I'm super grateful for the opportunity that Keith has given me to do that. So that was pretty unique.
There were berries in the fridge. There might still be berries in the fridge. Were those from you?
Yeah, hopefully they're in the freezer.
Okay.
I don't know about the fridge at this point.
That's right. They're in the freezer, not the fridge. I think of it all as one unit. But they were down there, still down there. There was a lot of berries down there.
Yeah.
They're very good. I didn't know they were from you.
Their berries specifically are like 13 acres of berries growing. So it's a lot, and that's a full summertime, and it sometimes stretches into the fall with that. But I don't go buy berries at the store. Like, let's just
no
say,
need to. Yeah, exactly. Now, you also have a Bachelor of Arts in Photography from CSU Sacramento, your alma mater, yet I have never once seen you on campus with a camera. Why?
Well, oh man, I graduated and went overseas directly to keep playing volleyball. Was just not done with playing, and at the same time though, I have a DSLR camera, and I brought that with me to my travels everywhere I went, and I love taking a good picture. It's become just a fun hobby for me, and I explored some career options obviously when I was graduating, and then I just wasn't done with volleyball. So I find myself consumed with volleyball, and life takes you in different places. But photography is just something that's a hobby of mine. Maybe down the road sometime when I have a little more freedom and time management skills. I'll put a little more into my photography, but
all about balancing the passions.
It is.
And right now, it's just got a little bit less time when you got the ranch and you got volleyball and all that stuff.
I put more on my plate every day. It's fine though.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the first ever team. Brand new program here in 2018, but it already seems like it's a super competitive team right from the very first match. Tell me about the group of guys that you have on the roster and their mindset here in year number 1.
Oh man, they're go-getters, and I love that we're competitive right off the bat. And back in my recruiting, I talked with every guy about just the opportunity that we have in front of us in the NAIA, where we're one of 30 plus teams that are able to compete for national championship. That's a big difference from the women's side or most other sports. So the opportunities to compete at that level for a championship are not that far away from us. And just finding the level of players in the recruiting process last year, and they're hungry, and our coaching staff, we're hungry. And so even though we're first year, we're young, we kind of, we want to get out of the gates quick and get there. So I think that's just something that we're all buying into, and we're seeing us be competitive against historical teams who've been around for a long time, and haven't gotten the wins yet, but they'll come. And but I really like this group. They're a fun group.
You speak about this group being a fun group. I don't know if it's just a men's volleyball thing, but this has been completely crazy to me to watch. They look like they're having so much fun on the court and off the court whenever a match is going on. Is that just how this team's wired?
I have to say it is so refreshing to, during a match, not only see the group on the court go wild after a great rally, a great kill, a great block, but I turn down the sideline and I see our whole bench going nuts and throwing out these wacky, fun, just celebration activities, and I'm a little caught off guard. I've never seen that before, but that's just kind of who these guys are. And they're not getting it from me, because if you look at me, on the sideline, I'm pretty stoic most of the time.
You are.
I love it. I just, they make me smile. They give the energy, and it's nice that they bring it themselves. I just love that about them. They're goofy. What
put me over the top was last Friday night when you guys were hosting UC Merced, and I think it was in between sets or maybe like during a timeout, and Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer, was playing in the sound system inside Haynes Prim, and they got the entire crowd to start singing along to it also. Whoa, we're halfway there. Like, they were getting into it.
Yes.
I've never seen anything like that for a team that's participating to try and get everybody else as pumped up as they were. It was awesome.
I have to say, they have a great sense of humor, and I'm right there with them. Like, they are just, they're in it, they're excited, and it's really great to have their presence in the gym like that every day. And like I said, their sense of humor is just fun to be around. I love it.
Now, most of them freshmen on the roster, so experience, obviously, you're still learning as you go along. So what kind of role does Brad Sawin have on the team? He's the lone senior, came from men's basketball the past 3 years. What's it been like for him?
Brad's a great guy. He is someone that's pretty well known on campus. So with all these freshmen, they have had a lot of questions, and a lot of questions that I may not be able to answer, even though I've been at Menlo. But I've just, myself as a coach, have relied on Brad as like my assistant question answer helper, and he has done great in that respect. But when it comes to volleyball and just ability to have composure, ability to bring energy in practice and compete, he's a staple person on the court there, where just people can look to him and know that how to react in certain situations. He's older. He's got a level of maturity. He's played collegiate sports. His experience level with volleyball is lower, but he handles that so well. And I love that he can show our freshmen and our younger guys a little bit how to handle yourself in kind of moments where your experience level is a factor.
For sure.
Yeah.
And of course, just as big a factor off the court as it is on the court, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Now, the win against St. Catherine last week, or a couple weeks ago at this point, first in program history. You talked about you guys are still hungry as a staff and the players on the floor. How satisfying was it for everybody to at least get the first one out of the way and get it out of the way early?
All smiles, for sure. I think that our whole team was just nervous being in our first tournament, kind of wondering what was going to happen. We had just suffered a 3-set sweep the night before against Santa Cruz, who we had scrimmaged in the fall, and kind of we were hoping for a better showing than that. So we bounced back and took a 3-0 sweep against St. Catherine, who is a first-year program as well. We didn't know what to expect. We handled our own side, and that was fun, a great uplifting moment for us, and just good learning experiences. Like, to get a win, to know how to win, is something that we are trying to do every day. And so having that win is really nice to kind of move forward from.
Now, you guys will probably have another learning experience this weekend as you go to Illinois for the Early Bird Tournament in Elgin. You'll be facing some of the top teams in the country in the NAIA during this tournament. What are the expectations for such a tournament?
First of all, like you said, for us going up back east, Midwest, it's to see what other NAIA competition is like, and compare to them. So Judson, they're going to be our first competition. They're our first-year program. That is a team that we're expecting to go in and compete for sure, to really try and get the win on that, because whenever we're competing against another first-year program, we want those odds to come in our favor, right? And then Lourdes is a team that finished top 5 last year. They came in ranked this year. I have a little secret weapon, though, with Zach Hawkins, my assistant. He's just graduated from Lourdes last year, so
Bada bing.
I'm hoping to get enough inside information with him on our bench that we can compete against Lourdes. And really, our goals right now are to compete and continue improving our game on our side. We can go and the level of talent that we have as a team, we can put ourselves in great positions to win matches right now. It's just about executing our game plan, executing our own side and what we need to do. And again, we're just looking to improve each match that we play.
All right, Atlee, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 random off-the-wall questions. You give me your best answer.
Okay.
Question number 1. Which player would make the worst farmer?
Well, fun fact, I actually had a couple guys come work on the weekends during our pumpkin patch, and which can get very hectic, and there's a lot going on. And the guys that came, it was Justice, Ryan, Akash, Trey, Ian, and they all rocked it. So they already, in my book, they're good to go. They can farm. They can be farmers. Yeah. I was thinking, actually, the one that came to mind was Bryson, and I think he is. I also heard he was our freshman class president.
Okay.
So shout out to him for that, for earning that. I think he's great in that role. The one thing that makes me think he wouldn't be a good farmer is because we had our individual team photos after practice one day, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Coach, are we going to get to shower before these photos?" And I said, "No, Bryson, we get to just go straight from practice to photos. You'll have about 15 minutes. You can do your hair, and it'll be good." And he goes, "Okay," but he was so worried about how he was going to look for his photos. I thought, there's no way he's going to be in the farming business anytime soon.
Too much upkeep for that.
Yeah. You gotta be able to get your hands dirty. So.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2: which player is most likely to break someone's fancy camera?
Oh boy. This is a hard one. Well, I'm gonna say Ryan, and it's only because there was a day where, so we have this value ball. It's a volleyball that we put our values all over and sign, and we keep, like, we designate one person on the team every week to carry it with them. Ryan forgot it one day when he came to practice, and he just like left it in the training room or something. So just based on that, I think he might not be so reliable with a fancy camera.
Yeah, maybe not so much that he's going to break it, but that someone else will break it because he just leaves it hanging around for a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Got to know what to value, man. Come on. And then question number 3, what player loves hot sauce the most?
Oh. You know, I might be able to answer this a little better after this weekend. We haven't had enough like team meals yet and travel, but I know that there's one person on our team who is kind of a self-proclaimed cook, and in my book that kind of means maybe like some spicy foods and can handle your hot sauce, and that would be Jared. He's the junior on the team, and but we'll see. I don't know. I can tell you. Denny, our assistant coach, I could say he probably wouldn't love hot sauce.
He wouldn't love hot sauce.
I don't think he would love hot sauce.
Why?
I don't know. He seems pretty particular about his spiciness.
Yeah, I don't like it myself either. But if you're a cook, maybe you would want to throw a little stuff on there. What, do you know anything that Jared likes to make in particular?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the invite to him to cook for the team.
A team meal,
because he lives off campus. Right next door. I'm like, just cook for us. So I'm gonna put that invite out there, Jared. You got to cook for us sometime.
You're on the hook now, Jared. You got to do it. And I know you're watching this when it comes out. So Atlee is calling you out. You're making dinner for the team.
That's right.
Atlee, thank you so much for joining me on the show. I really appreciate it. Folks, the men's volleyball team is hitting the road. They're going to Judson to participate in the Early Bird Tournament this upcoming weekend, Friday and Saturday. 4 games. They take on Judson and Lourdes on Friday, and then Robert Morris and Siena Heights on Saturday. First serve for the Oaks is 2 o'clock on Friday, and then it will be 9 o'clock on Saturday. All 4 games on the road. They will be back at home in early February for the Menlo College Men's Volleyball Tournament right here inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. That'll be on February 9th, 10th, and 11th. We invite you to tune into next week's episode of Unrooted Men's Volleyball Edition. Atlee Frechette will select the first athlete to be interviewed by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on the show. Until then, we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
I'm a God-fearing, hard-working combine driver, hogging up the road with my